Hey guys, James here again. This one will be what if Luffy was born the greatest pirate. Because in this one, I'll be taking attributes from different pirates that, I guess like any pirate really, that I find a positive attribute in, such as like Big Mom, sense of loyalty and family, alongside Whitebeard, and Roger's big sense of family. But I will not be counting Shanks, the fact that Shanks probably took a lot from Roger as well, so yeah. And I assume that Roger took a lot from his crewmates at the same time, because, well, yeah. So, yeah, so like, I'll be thinking mainly from like the four Yonko, excluding Shanks and Blackbeard, and replacing them with like Roger and Rocks. And though Rocks was like the king of the world, not a Yonko, but yeah. But the moment I'm mainly taking from Rocks, Whitebeard, Big Mom, Kaido. After Whitebeard, Roger. So Rocks, Whitebeard, Big Mom, Kaido, Roger. Who else can we take from? Luffy's already Joyboy's reincarnation, so we don't need to take from him. I guess that can really just be it. But yeah, so this one Luffy's also going to be a bit older, at roughly around a year older than Ace and Sabo. So yeah, so by the time the story begins, he'll be 21 years old. By the time the time skips over, he'll be 23. So yeah, so he'll be 11 when he meets Shanks. But yeah, so when he meets Shanks, he's 11 years old. But for 11 years old, he's freakishly big. Like I said before, he started taking after a few Yonko. And Luffy will actually be a lot like Kid Big Mom in terms of just raw physical power, and not physical power, just raw power itself. He'll be a lot like Roger. Not Roger, I mean Big Mom. As when she was a kid. Pause. So Luffy is 11 years old, and then his raw power would consist of like Kid Big Mom, who killed a Elbathian bear, who's probably bigger than a regular bear. I'd bet probably even beyond 30 feet. With one hit. Then she also ran hands with giants. So yeah. So we have Luffy, who is basically just kind of just chilling with Shanks, and then eventually he will walk in and about to slash down Makino's bar. With Luffy's age, actually does have nothing better to do besides work with Makino. So when like he went to slash down the bar, Luffy puts his arm in the way and catches Higima's blade. And Shanks saw that Luffy cut the blade. Well, Luffy immediately started twisting his arms a certain way till the blade actually just snapped clean in half. He jumped back looking at Luffy, looking at his blade in half. Luffy charged at him full speed and smacked Higuma right in the chest, and broke, basically, not smacked, but like kind of just back-fisted Higuma's ribs, breaking a majority of them, sending him flying out of the bar. Luffy ended up smirking as he ended up putting his fists up, looking at Higuma's guys, as honestly Luffy and them already have a long-running feud. Luffy says he'll fight them himself. They can just chill in here and enjoy their drinks. Shanks not saying, Makino, is he gonna be alright? Makino says, oh yeah, this is just a regular Tuesday. He's actually shared a gunshot saying, no, I'm not so sure. But Shanks says, alright then, well, we ask not to keep watch. If he's about to die, you intervene. He gives him a nod as he peeks out the window. And he actually watches Luffy take on so many guys that it's amazing. Keep in mind, Luffy's 11 years old, dropping guys that are between 20 and 45. So yeah. Hold up real quick. All right, just had a fact check. Fact check Dodon and Higuma's age. You know, Higuma's older than Dodon. Yeah, he's 3 years older than her, despite him looking a lot younger to me. Yeah, so Luffy beat all of Higuma's bandits, but it was a pretty hard fight for him. When the fight's over, Shanks and Makino will walk out, seeing Luffy's body covered in scratches, and there's a small dagger sticking out of one of Luffy's hands. Luffy just bit down on the handle, pulling it out, and smirked, saying that this was a little too easy for him. He spat it out as Makino immediately began bandaging up Luffy's body, telling him he can't keep fighting these guys like there's no tomorrow. Luffy just smiling as he walked back into the bar, covered in bandages still. And eventually, while Shanks is talking, Luffy opened the chest and ate the devil fruit, just because he thought it looked tasty, because it's a weird-looking fruit. Shanks saw Luffy took a bite out of it, and thought it was like something's a random fruit, so he turned around again, seeing the chest wide open, and seeing Luffy eating the whole thing. Pause. So yeah, so Shanks was shocked that Luffy turned out to reaching Luffy's mouth to pull out the fruit. Luffy just spat out Shanks' hand, asking Shanks what the big deal is. Shanks began opening Luffy's mouth, saying, "You idiot, you're stretching!" And Luffy says, Oh, what I eat? Shanks says, a devil fruit, you idiot. And also, ever heard of asking to eat something before you just take it from random strangers? He says, yeah, but I don't do that. Shanks says, I can tell. face palmed, and then we fast forward a few days. Fast forward roughly around 3. Now, after Shanks got done lecturing Luffy kind of had the will of like Roger to Shanks, but also very similar to other Yonko to him, or at least ones he's encountered. Like, from his attitude is very similar to like Kaido, Big Mom, Roger, Whitebeard, all combined. But also, he's still Luffy. So he's also his own person, but being very similar to other Yonko at the exact same time, which amazes Shanks. So yeah. So with this, well, we go on to see basically, we should go on to see, a few days later, Human's bandits try to fight Luffy one more time, but they bring guns this time. Well, they did before, but it was only one guy, and he got knocked out immediately. So yeah, so eventually, Luffy did beat all of Human's bandits one more time. But the thing is, they were hired to test out Luffy's power one more time. Gold Kingdom did see the trading port, being Fucha Village, burning a bit. A few days ago, when he was managed to have a Molotov and throw it at Luffy. Luffy honestly just blocked it, but his arm caught on fire a bit. Then he kind of shook it out, but flames went to other buildings, and then it burned. Then asking his guys, as he was too scared to actually deny the kingdom. Now they're here to test Luffy in the eyes of, well, a guard. Once Luffy fought them all in one again, and eventually Shanks did leave, telling Luffy that he'd be a good pirate and turn the Straw Hat when he's strong enough. Well, the bandit actually would drag Luffy over to the Goa Kingdom and have Luffy train to be a guard. Garp would eventually arrive and actually enroll Ace and Sabo as well. Because, well, here from Makino, Luffy's now a guard of the Goa Kingdom, or at least a guard in training. And fast forward to roughly around the time that Sabo's dad would try to come for him. Not Sabo's in the Great Terminal anymore, so she saw Sabo walking out of like the kingdom in knight armor alongside Luffy and Ace. And they actually refer to Luffy as Big Bro, because he's their older brother. Also the strongest one there, plus at the age of 11, he's almost 6 feet tall. So yeah, he's like 5'11". Not 5'9" really, but when he wears his sandals or just his night gear, around 6 foot exactly. So yeah. But Sabo's dad would question how Sabo became a guard. Sabo just says, "Oh well, his grandpa," pointing at Luffy and Ace, their grandpa, is Monkey D. Garp, a Marine, and he wanted us to become guards, so we did. Sabo's dad's jaw dropped that his grandson met the son met such a legendary war hero, and became a guard. He actually would bow to like Luffy and Ace, thanking them for introducing Sabo to their grandfather. Garp says, not Garp, I mean, so Ace says, that's his grandfather. He's kind of like, he just knew me. So yeah. Eventually, Sabo's dad still thanks them, and Luffy and Sabo still go through like night training or guard training. But eventually, Luffy and they three get like a mission like a year later to take down all like Bluejam's crew, and they agree. With this, they walk into the Great Terminal, and well, they're honestly just wearing they're wearing what they usually wear. Luffy's 12, Ace and Sabo are 11, and they actually did become guards because they had to get a basic education first, and Luffy wasn't too bad with education. He just didn't try too much, which made him seem a bit dumb. But yeah, Luffy is currently just wearing a black jacket, a white shirt. Then his regular. Let's describe him as like what he wears in Film Z before he fights Zephyr's whole crew. So yeah, he's kind of wears that as like a casual item of clothing. But they approach Bluejam. Chip and Bluejam is where Luffy is because, well, people actually compare Luffy to Bluejam in terms of power, even though they don't know how strong Luffy is because he only shows off of like taking down guards. Bluejam's staring on a kid who's supposedly on his level. But Jimmy would just stare down Ace, and then the whole other crew would stare down Sabo. As Bluejam and Jimmy themselves can take down their whole crew by themselves. He ends up putting his fist up saying, you can guess why I'm here, can't you? Bluejam would nod, and then he puts his fist up too before actually pulling out a sword instead, saying, this will be more than enough to handle you. So, Bluejam, Pochemi, and the whole Bluejam crew get ready to face off against Luffy, Ace, and Sabo. Sabo against the crew, and then Luffy and Ace against Bluejam and Pochemi. So with that, Luffy and Bluejam get swapping blows, and quickly Bluejam blocking one of Luffy's punches would realize that Luffy is just a monster. He can't beat Luffy whatsoever. Immediately, he tried to actually swing a sword at Luffy, only for his blade to be grabbed, and then Luffy just squeezes it and crushes the blade completely. And Luffy, in terms of just raw power, is actually really far ahead of canonical Luffy pre-time skip. This Luffy's roughly around the level he is in Alabasta. So Bluejam took out Luffy in half, Luffy grabbed his sword and crushed it. kind of shattered it. But now we go to Ace versus Porchemi, and Ace is using actually can more or less uses a pipe still, but he's forced to mainly use a sword. Use a sword or a staff when he's a soldier, but honestly, he's better. He's still better with the pipe. But Porchemi's still using the giant sword. Only you have Ace completely outmatch him and defeat him, and pretty easily at that. Well, we have Sabo dropping guys left and right like it's nothing. Back to Luffy versus Bluejam. We honestly just landed one good headbutt to Bluejam's jaw and completely broke it, then and knocked him out. But Luffy just punched the ground full force right on Bluejam's stomach, and that actually shattered Bluejam's spine. How much force he used. So yeah. For that, Luffy would dash full speed ahead, right to help Sabo, while Ace was already helping him. Now that all three of them are able to defeat Bluejam's crew, Bluejam being unable to fight anymore, and Bluejam not unable to be a combatant anymore. Same with Chemi with a very badly broken arm, not even being able to move it properly anymore. The crew's destroyed. So yeah, I fast forward to when Luffy 17 and Ace and Sabo are 16. They eventually leave the guard when they're roughly around 15. Well, when Ace and Sabo were 15, Luffy was 16. He left the guard when he was 16. They left when they're 15. And well, they did enough service to the guards to actually allow it. But in exchange for that, Luffy and all of them are very good warriors. They're strong as all hell. Plus, they've explored most parts of the East Blue and South Blue even. So yeah. Plus, we'll actually know Stelly, but Stelly hates them because Sabo made his parents a lot more proud than he did, and he's a smarter child. Well, he thinks he is, despite Sabo being the smartest. But yeah. But I'm gonna go over some of Luffy's basic abilities. When he would set sail when he's 17. He has the voice of all things. He can hear some animals, not all of them, but some of them. Like he can hear their voices, not like they're just random animal noises. He has strength surpassing a giant, as we see Whitebeard has that too. That's the attribute he gets from Whitebeard. But also we see Kaido and Big Mom, who've thrown on giants when they were younger. So Kaido can probably throw them around still at his age, and Big Mom most definitely can do it too. So yeah, there's like 3 Yonko that already throw around giants. Shanks can probably do it too, because he can clash with Whitebeard on even terms and not be overwhelmed physically. Then Roger can do the exact same thing. So he has just raw power. Plus we have Rocks and Joy Boy, and Joy Boy was a giant, and Rock we don't know who he is, but yeah. But he was the captain of the crew, so I assume he may have been able to throw around giants too. It'd be funny if Rocks didn't even have any abilities like Conqueror's Haki or anything. He just had sheer raw master observation and ornament Haki. But yeah. But yeah. Luffy's pretty good with the sword. He's also a decent marksman as well. Yeah, he can use a rifle and a pistol. He mainly uses like a sawed-off hunting rifle. So yeah. Well, no, it's not very similar to Rifle Bin Beckman, really. Then he kind of has a cutlass, but then he also use Naginata and a you can use a cutlass, Naginata, a Kanabo, and just a regular katana or a regular longsword. Yeah, on his ship, he actually had a shipwright build for him because he said the shipwright's life, the shipwright owed him, so the shipwright built him a small ship. This is big enough to fit Luffy and like 3 other people, and it had big enough rooms to fit the 3 people individually. So yeah. So Luffy's room is just like Kanabo, like a pistol, rifle, missiles, anything. Luffy's room is just full of random weapons and then some clothes, like a regular bedroom stuff, and then multiple weapons in the closet. But yeah, there's Infinity for Conqueror's Ornament and Observation Haki, which Nagiri taught him observation. He's also a genius because he was pretty young when he became a soldier, so he also had to just get basic education as well. He's a natural genius. Plus his battle IQ's through the roof. He's actually a captain of the guard. Then he's a decent sailor, and he can read maps pretty well as well. Then his looks and personality are very attractive as well, because at 17, his height is roughly around like 7 feet tall, but he has muscle mass he has muscle mass that's like Zoro levels, so pretty impressive still. Then he has great sense of family and loyalty. So his look and personality is very attractive. He also has great sense of family and loyalty. He knows how to read people easily just because he interrogates a lot of people on a daily basis. So yeah. And then, he has super speed and endurance. He can outrun a bullet, and his endurance is very, very impressive. Then his destructive power with and without a Delph Fruit is unmeasurable. If you live through it, then you probably still can't measure it. So yeah. Then he can progress really fast with hockey and double fruit abilities and just natural fighting skills. So yeah. Right. So Luffy's 17, 4 years before current story, would leave. He's 1 year older than he is. Not 1 year. He's 4 years older than he is in the current story. So yeah. Right. Pause. So Luffy has those abilities. He would set sail, and first up happens to actually be it happens to be Syrup Village. So he's using a map, head to Syrup Village, and when he landed, Usopp thought Luffy was a pirate because Luffy had a Jolly Roger. But Luffy got off the boat and honestly began talking to Usopp. As him and Usopp talked for a bit, they get along pretty well. And eventually, Luffy would actually give Usopp a bit of courage over the span of 1 month he was on Syrup Village. And everyone heard that Luffy actually knew Yasopp. Yasopp was the one that told him to not become a pirate, but the one that told him to go get Usopp. Luffy started telling Usopp, this is a picture. He has a picture of him and the crew, Shanks' crew, because Luffy's idea to actually have a picture. It says, yeah, he bought the picture showing it, and, So Usopp couldn't deny that was his dad in the picture. Because Usopp and his dad looked just alike, just his dad had an afro and a short nose and blonde hair. But yeah, his dad's hair's dyed blonde, but yeah. So we fast forward on to probably just Usopp trying to actually speak up to Kaya personally and not jump onto a tree and just talk to her via tree branch. But Kuro actually tells Usopp no, but Kaya wants to have Usopp come in, but Kuro doesn't really want Usopp in there. But eventually, we'd honestly just have Kuro actually try to push Usopp away. At this point, Kaya's parents are still around, but Kaya's parents actually let Usopp in. Kuro's getting annoyed, but Luffy actually pulls Kuro away, and asks Kuro why he's so against it. But Kuro actually tells Luffy that Luffy's a pirate and should know how pirates act. Kuro ends up smirking, and pulls a glove out to kill Luffy, or tries to, only to have his hand grabbed and then broken by Luffy. He immediately in pain jumping away with his glove out, and everyone can see Kuro with knives out. On his glove, really, but this does confuse them a lot. So Luffy then yelled that Kuro's a pirate, and he tried to kill him in the alleyway. And everyone believed Luffy because he's been a good guy so far. He has no reason to backstab them. All he's done has been helpful. Well, they barely know Kuro. All they know is that he's decent to Kaya's family and only Kaya's family. So with this, it's more believable for the villagers. And even Usopp got nervous because he's actually told Luffy's not like that to start a fight. He doesn't even know if Luffy can fight. That could have been trying to slash Luffy down using Soru and everything, but Luffy's just stopping all of his attacks with just his foot or one finger, like it's nothing. But eventually, Kuro would end up missing one fatal attack that Luffy would just actually take advantage of, and actually kind of stick his finger in Kuro's mouth and pull him. Actually, almost tears Kuro's jaw clean off. Everyone sees blood fly across his mouth as he hit a tree head first, and will be basically just be put into a coma by how hard he hit the tree. Luffy tells them that they shouldn't show sympathy to a pirate. But he says that he'll be leaving though. Actually, asks Usopp if he wants to come, he holds his hand out, and Usopp would take it, wanting to become a brave warrior of the sea like Luffy is. That they actually tap Kuro, and they wait for him to become. They wait for him to be conscious again. So yeah. Now this they set sail. Usopp do. Before they do, Mary actually shows off the improved going Mary he had. He actually modified it to be a pirate ship, and he kind of did that a week after Luffy arrived. So yeah. Actually, Luffy didn't notice the ship was gone because he wasn't sleeping on it. He was sleeping in Usopp's house. And at this point, it's 4 years before canonical story, so Usopp is 13 years old when he leaves with Luffy. So yeah, but they see the rooms, and they see they have a lot of rooms. There's not a lot of rooms, there's really big ones. There's around 4 of them, really. And, only 3 of them are people, while the 4th one is just one giant room fit for a pirate crew. It can fit roughly around 8 people in that room. So yeah. So Luffy stops to sail on the Going Merry, and when they leave, Luffy actually reads a map and actually wants to find a village. But actually, this map is actually helped by Mary, because Mary actually taught Luffy how to read maps a bit better. Even Mary had mentioned ships that he knew, not ships, islands he knew about from working on civilian ships. So some of the ships, some islands, and Mary pointed out that some of the ships are One of the main islands he pointed out is Shimosuke Village, saying this is an island full of swordsmen. It's a really impressive island. Then Luffy should head there someday. Well, usually because Luffy's cutlass is kind of worn down after training. So, wait. Alright, so Luffy would basically just, head to Shimosuke Village with Usopp after Mary told Luffy that his sword is kind of worn down from training and that he could just go to the island and pick up a new cutlass. And, Usopp did notice that Luffy was actually one to collect weapons a lot, so, yeah. Luffy arrived there, they didn't notice it was a pirate ship, but Luffy seemed to be pretty calm as he was sitting on, the head of the White Mary, kind of smiling, talking to Usopp. Because, those two are the only ones on it. Luffy jumped off as Koshiro would actually ask Luffy why a pirate's here. Because, Luffy just wanted to cutlass saying, I kind of wore it down training. I'd like just to buy a blade sharpener or something. Koshiro says, how'd you know this is a village full of swordsmen? Or village of swordsmen. Or sword users, so to say. As he was correcting his words, it actually the thought of Kaya crossing through when he said swordsmen and Kaya's dream. Not Kaya. Kuina. Just because there's a K woman last arc, K woman this arc, yeah. So he thought he couldn't cut off himself off because he thought of his daughter Kuina. We ended up pulling out a map out of his pocket and then says, Shimosuke Village, right? Village of Sword. And he ended up saying how he has it in parentheses, how the village is supposed to be. Smiling, saying, you're the navigator, right? Just, yeah, I kind of do every role here besides marksman, which I still am a better one than Usopp, as he points up to him. But Koshiro actually does ask Luffy how old he is, because Luffy's huge. Luffy's 7 feet tall. He's big for 17 years old. And Koshiro heard that Luffy's 17 is how old Usopp is. Luffy's he's 13. So yeah. So yeah. So on Shimosuke Village, Koshiro actually will look at Luffy's blade and sharpen it for him after Luffy buys the sword sharpener. Koshiro does ask Luffy how long he's had the blade. Luffy says, since I was like 12. Because he's had the blade for a long time. Koshiro does actually want to see how well Luffy is with the sword. But then Luffy actually says he can use a variety of weapons. He just shows Koshiro his variety of weapons. The naginata, the rifle, the pistol, there's rocket launchers, but they shoot cannonballs instead of rockets. And then he has a naginata, a kanabo, a cutlass, a katana. Koshiro does say, hey, I just want to see Luffy's skills with all of these. Koshiro says he can be able to do these himself as well. And Luffy actually is not mentioning Koshiro and everything besides the katana. His sheer speed and strength is perfect for this. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Pause. So yeah. So Luffy Luffy just will be free versus Koshiro, and Koshiro would eventually actually offer to train Luffy with the katana. We agreed, then, we move on to when Luffy's roughly around 18. And Usopp actually began training there as well, but mainly actually perfecting his eyes, really. Luffy taught Usopp how to use observation hockey throughout this time as well. Even Zoro, as Luffy actually had like kind of a bond with Zoro. So once eventually Zoro and Usopp both actually picked up observation hockey from Luffy, and Koshiro did. Luffy actually had to leave, actually inviting Zoro and Koshiro on the crew, but Zoro says he'll join, Koshiro should stay here. Koshiro would nod, and when Luffy would leave, he's 18. Luffy would be 2 years older than Zoro, so Luffy's 18, Zoro would be 16, and then Usopp would be 14. Luffy jumped on the boat, invited everyone in the village as he knew them for a while, and as they leave, Usopp already has the giant muscular build that he had post time skip, but instead he's 14, but he doesn't have any facial hair really. So we have Zoro and Luffy and Usopp who are both very skilled users with observation. But Luffy is actually able to use a bit of armament hockey, but not too well actually, because he's recently discovering it. But eventually, Luffy and Zoro and Usopp all headed to Cocoyasi Village, as Luffy did say he heard about the village being pretty good. Okay. Wait, hold on. So Cocoyasi Village, they arrived there, honestly just because I want them to arrive there. Now, when they do get there, well, they arrive right as Nami's about to leave. Now, Nami at this point isn't like she's still pretty young, and this is at this point she's 1 year older than Usopp. She'd be 15, so this is like 5 years, no, 5 years after Arlong took over the town. Actually, I think around like 6, but Belmere died like 1 year in. Shanks actually want Luffy to get him to leave, but Luffy says no, and he actually does ask Nami why. He doesn't want to tell him before he actually pulled her on board and force her to tell him. When he told Luffy about this and how Arlong was a fisherman, he just laughs, saying he's killed dozens of fishermen before. He actually has killed a few fishermen before, because, well, a few of them kind of had the same sentiments as Arlong in the South Blue, and like I said before, Luffy's been to the South Blue and all over the East. So when he arrived, when in South Blue, he's killed a few fishermen that have the same sentiments as Arlong, but not the power of Arlong. So they died pretty easily to a 14-year-old Luffy at some points. When she heard this, she asked Luffy what his name is, and so Luffy says, Monkey D. Luffy. And the thing is, Luffy's name rings throughout the East East and South Blue, as basically an almighty powerful guard. Because Luffy went around on a boat full of just Go Kingdom guards and mercenaries. Because Luffy was both when he worked for the Go Kingdom alongside Ace and Sabo. His brothers also have legendary titles. But the thing is about Sabo, if you guys want to know where he'd go, still there were the revolutionaries. I didn't go over that, honestly, because I forgot about that. But Sabo still met Dragon at some random point, and Dragon and him talked about Sabo joining the revolutionaries. And they all know who Dragon is. They met Dragon with Sabo at some point. So yeah, Sabo already knows where Baltigo is, and they even all have Vira cards leading to Dragon. Luffy has those in his straw hat. Like the band of it, like the red band right here. On top of Luffy's head. So yeah. So on that band, Luffy actually has a picture of him the red-haired crew, and then the Vira card for Dragon. So yeah, so Sabo is going to go to the revolutionaries actually this year, because he's 1 year older than him and Ace. See. Yeah. So with this, we have Luffy, who would honestly just will go in the village with Nami, and Nami actually tells them all who Luffy is. When they're shocked to hear this is that Luffy. So yeah. So with this, we really just have Luffy, who would just jump into like Arlong Park once the villagers all tell Luffy what Arlong's done to them, and Zoro and Usopp are right beside him. Now, Usopp actually built Kabuto a bit earlier because, well, it's actually recommended by an old merchant in the village of Shimisuki Village. Usopp would jump over Arlong Park's wall and actually pull out a slingshot, yelling lead Firestar. So this is a lead ball, or mainly a ball with a lead casing on it, but inside would actually be a ton of gunpowder and actually 1 or 2 bullets. Once it actually hit, it would actually make a combustion, send the 2 bullets flying and ricocheting everywhere. These are Usopp built bullets. Usopp actually learned how to be a blacksmith in Shimisuki Village. So Luffy basically just not Luffy. Usopp would hit Chu in the face with his like he kind of just calls it a lead Firestar because it's just a thing, but the 2 bullets are mainly a surprise. Chu would get the explosion head on. 1 bullet would bounce, actually hit Kirby right in the leg, and then one run right in the jaw, basically destroying his jaw completely. Usopp would land, rushing full force towards Kirby, kicking him right in the neck, and then just smacking him right in the temple with Kabuto at the end. The end of Kabuto is really just a really blunt force steel end. Usopp did learn how to use Kabuto like a staff, but also kind of like a sword. He has sword techniques, but doesn't use a sword. They spent all 1 year in a sword village. What do you think Usopp would do? Nothing? Yeah. Luffy would jump in, actually would confront Arlong, and alongside the whole other crew, Zoro would fight just Hachi. Zoro honestly holds his hand out, telling Hachi that he only needs 1 arm, not even a blade. And Zoro's right, as Hachi would try to use the 6 or 8 sword staff, which are 6. Hachi can't block, or not block, he can't hit Zoro once. Zoro just simply used the back of his hand to redirect the blades and hit Hachi in the chest like a palm strike. When he's done, everyone's watching Hachi get manhandled by some kid with 1 arm. He doesn't have 1 arm, but Hachi's getting hit with 1 arm only. When Zoro's done, just uppercuts Hachi right in the chin with the palm, and knocks out Hachi. They ended up smirking, saying that martial arts from Luffy paid off. As Luffy isn't a main fighter, really. He knows he does martial arts, one being Kyokushin Karate, and the other being Muay Thai. And Zoro kind of preferred just Kyokushin. But yeah. So, so with this, we go on to Luffy, and then Luffy and Arlong. As him and Arlong are kind of just trading blows. But Luffy halfway through actually stop and just throw around random fishmen just to defeat them. But not only that, Luffy's holding back against Arlong just actually defeat other fishmen around him. Honestly, that's because Luffy doesn't like people butting into his fights, but yeah. But actually, one of them tried to use a sword. Luffy just kicking them in the gut, catching the sword, cutting off one of Arlong's arms, and stabbing Arlong in the leg. Not only realize that Luffy's serious, he's really strong and stronger than Arlong by a lot. So with Arlong defeated, because just Luffy beat all the fish around him, then Arlong also just dying of blood loss as he speaks. His arm and leg both have well, arm was cut off and his leg has a very big blade through it. Arlong tried to go inside and grab his shark fin blade, trying to cut Luffy's head out clean off with it. Luffy honestly just blocked it and just redirected it, and then kicked it right at Arlong's neck, and Arlong basically cut his own head off. But he landed as he's not too scared of death because he's killed a few people before. It's kind of his job. Yeah. But yeah. So we should go on to Luffy, who would eventually just see. Yeah, we can probably just move on to Luffy best to leave after like 3 days of partying. Before he leaves, he talks to Nami and Nojiko. But Luffy and Nojiko do get a bit touchy at some points. So yeah. But Nami would stop it before anything seriously going inside something else would happen. But Luffy and Zoro and Usopp are about to leave, so Nami actually if they need a navigator. Luffy doesn't know he's a navigator, but also he doesn't need to focus on other things on board. So it'd be great to have someone else to help him. She nods, and well, actually, vice captain is actually Usopp because Usopp is actually pretty responsible in this one. So yeah, and Usopp in terms of power is actually greater than he is in any of the arcs until he gets a Wano. Usopp is actually decent with observation hockey compared to canonical Usopp. So yeah, the only difference is that Usopp and Wano is physically stronger. This Usopp's just faster and has better perception. So yeah, so Luffy, Nami, and Usopp leave, heading all the way on to Brazier. When they arrive there, well, they kind of chill out for a bit. As they hang out, well, eventually, they do meet Sanji. Zoro and Sanji do get an argument. So yeah. With Zoro and Sanji kind of getting into a small argument, eventually Luffy's able to calm them down. So with this, well, Zoro and Sanji do actually just decide to fight because Luffy and Zeph told them both to fight. They fight. Zoro is actually able to beat Sanji pretty easily. And Sanji's amazed that Zoro's this strong with one arm because Zoro only beat Sanji with one arm. He only needs one arm. And that's no sign of disrespect to people just only beating them with one arm, not even using 2 or 3 swords, or even 1 sword, really. So yeah. But with this, Sanji's defeated, and we just move on past this. So, yeah. So with this, well, eventually Luffy and Zeph actually talk for a bit, and Zeph understand how strong Luffy is as a pirate, because Luffy just say how much he trained and who he was. But eventually Luffy actually wanted to actually have Sanji in his crew, saying that Sanji may end up being one of the weakest, but still he needs a chef because no one on the ship can cook, and Luffy's cooking is pretty bad. It's like big basic meals you have to eat on a whim, and that's it. Imagine eating all those for 3 meals a day for a year straight. So yeah. With this, Zeph does agree, and she does share sentiment of how good it is to have a chef on your crew. So now with this, they leave with Sanji and their crew now because Zeph insists Sanji join them. On the way out, they actually would encounter 3 ships really. These 3 ships are locked in battle. These 3 ships, one of them being the biggest actually. One of them being the biggest because they also have a whole fleet of ships behind them. But one of that fleet isn't really too powerful. Besides 3 people, being one guy with these shields on all over his body, a captain with the golden armor, and another guy using tonfa. Then again, they're still losing to this guy using devil fruit that allows him to split his body apart, alongside some guy riding a tiger, and some other guy riding a unicycle with swords in his hands. Then there's some fat lady with a giant kanabo. Now, everyone's just, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and all them are watching this, and with their, they kind of like a frown on their face, is how dumb this looks. And Luffy's actually on deck, like swinging like one of the weights around, like he's gonna swing like a barbell around that weighs like 400 pounds, like a sword. But Luffy then says, I'm just gonna sink one of the ships." He then swings around the barbell before he throws it at full force, and it would fly through the ship, and then fly into another one, sinking one of the ships. Eventually, Alvida's ship and one of Don Krieg's ships. At this point, Alvida would not have Kobe, so there's no need to worry. So with this, Alvida's ship would sink. Before she even know what happened, she'd see Luffy appear in front of her before kicking her full force, sending her flying far, far away. If you guys want to know how far Alvida would go, or why she would go so far, with Luffy not even using like the Devil Fruit, this man can outmatch giants in raw power without using a Devil Fruit ability. There's no reason that he shouldn't be strong enough to do that to Alvida. So yeah. But Luffy ends up seeing Buggy, and Buggy is actually able to avoid some of Luffy's punches by separating. But when Buggy separated, he's punched him back in the head somehow. And she sees Luffy's arm had bent. And as Luffy's a Devil Fruit user, Buggy just gets brushed from every direction. But eventually Luffy would just hit him in the face with a hockey-infused punch, and then knocks out Buggy for sure. And then Luffy would dash full speed ahead, as him and Don Krieg being clashing. Sanji would fight Pearl, and losing pretty horribly, actually. But Usopp joined in to begin helping Sanji, as Pearl's actually being overwhelmed by Usopp himself. We have Zoro and Nami actually beating Gin pretty easily, and Gin is deserving of at least one sword of Zoro. So yeah. Eventually, Gin is defeated by Zoro, and we move on to probably just the whole these three fleets, two ships, and one fleet being defeated by, an 18-year-old, two 16-year-olds, a 15-year-old, and a 14-year-old. Yep. They defeated three ships and like 5 extra for no reason. For a reason, but yeah. Yeah. So with this, all the ships are defeated, and the Trot decide to leave, and they just head straight over Reverse Mountain. So as they head over Reverse Mountain, eventually we go on. It's probably just Luffy and all them, and they arrive at Whiskey Peak, and I'm pretty sure Crocodile said he has planned in motion for at least 40 years, and then this is UB21 3 time skip. 18, 19, 20, 21. This is 3 years before the current story, so the plan would recently just begin to get in action. So really, anyone in Whiskey Peak is actually a bounty hunter. Very few of them are. So when it comes to nighttime, very few of them attack, and a lot of them are actually very nervous too. So the ones that very few that do attack are beaten up, and then the Strides leave. Then they arrive on Little Garden where they meet Dory and Bragi, which honestly isn't much different. There's just no Mr. 3 or Miss Golden Week. Luffy does fight Dory and Bragi with like just his raw physical abilities. And then they do acknowledge that Luffy is stronger than a giant, which shocks this whole Stride crew. They didn't know that. And the giant proved to be really powerful. So yeah. Wait, pause. So they head over Mountain, they beat everyone up at Ski Peak, Luffy shot Dory and Bragi, proving to have strength of the giant. They get to Water 7. They get to Drum Island. Then they get there, honestly, I don't see much of this arc being much different at all, besides Luffy not getting frostbite. That's really just it. So yeah, and Wapol isn't gone, but yeah, it took them a long time to find Dr. Rain and Chopper. Once he found them, he talked to Chopper and Dr. Rain for a bit, and didn't call Chopper emergency because he's a decent person. So yeah. Chopper asks Luffy why he'd go so far for people, no matter no matter what. Luffy says, "No, there's family, so he'd do anything for them, really." If Chopper, if he'd do anything for Dr. Rain, Chopper says, yeah, he would do virtually anything. And he says then that's how he feels about his crew. They're his Dr. Rain. It's just that he's teaching them instead of her teaching him. So yeah. With that, Chopper doesn't understand how the crew would operate, as with Luffy being the more adult and, I guess the more adult figure on the crew. So far, he's a lot like everyone's bigger brother. Or, I'll say I said bigger. He's a lot like everyone's big brother so far. So Luffy ended up basically leaving. He asked Chopper to come with him, and saying that they need a doctor. Chopper could gain experience by finding out and experiencing injuries that are not really going to be on this very relatively safe island. Chopper actually has an idea, and he'll run Luffy on one condition. They can beat up Wapol. Not just saying, yeah, sure, let's not. Why not? Let's go. Now Sanji is fully healed by now, saying, all right, he'll go too. And will they climb the mountain? But Luffy, well, actually, it's like a whole lift to get up there. They can just take that lift up there. When they're there, they're met by Chess and Kuro at the door. And Chess would fire an arrow at Luffy, only for the arrow to be caught and thrown back right into his chest. Luffy then ends up pulling out his cutlass, and then appears from Kuro, and then says this is going to hurt a lot. Something he'd slash, and almost cuts Wapol's whole castle in half. Kuro is the one that falls to the ground unconscious, and not unconscious, he falls down dead. But yeah. So yeah. Oh, wait, pause. So, basically, Wapol would walk out, but realize that Kuro and Chess are both dead. Chopper and Sanji Sanji is fighting all the guards. Chopper just fights Wapol himself, and he beats Wapol, actually. So, yeah. It didn't take like every ounce of energy he had, but he beat Wapol. Honestly, Chopper wanted to beat up Wapol because around a year ago, Dr. Hill died around a year or two ago, so he's still pretty angry about it. So he wanted to get all that anger out. But he beat Wapol, but was still pretty beaten up too. After around a week of Chopper recovering, they leave. He leaves with the Straw Hat crew, waving goodbye to Dr. Ian. So yeah. Now with this, they are in Alabasta. Only just like they don't have Vivi with them right now, but they still fight. Like when they arrive there, they see Vivi and Eager about to leave the docks, and they ask why another pirate crew's here. And then Luffy says, "Oh, he's kind of just here for fun." But she mentions about Crocodile, and Luffy says, "Oh, he'll beat a warlord easily." Then she talks about him being made of sand, and him saying, "Well, the weakness of sand is water. So why does that matter to me?" like off bat, he already knew the weakness of sand was water. That's just how smart he was. He says, "Well, he has Delphi User. The obvious weakness is water." He says, "No, sand is just literally weak to water. Spray him with a water bottle, and you'll be able to hit him." That's how it works. Which just shocked Vivi and Igam that that's how easy it was to beat Crocodile. But honestly, it's not that easy. Luffy is just a monster. That's how easy it'd be for him. But we go on to Luffy and Crocodile's first fight. The one that Crocodile would impale Luffy with a hook. But instead of that happening, Crocodile would try to impale Luffy, only to have his hook grabbed and then snapped. Luffy then actually splashes the poison on Crocodile's face. Then some poison in Crocodile's eye, with him not realizing now his eye is drenched in some liquid. Then he sees Luffy's finger extend at insane speed, hitting him right in the eye. Suddenly, Luffy basically ends up just hitting, like, kind of just dabbing the spots that are covered in poison with his finger. When he's done, his finger is burning a bit, but still Crocodile's body is just in pain from just being jabbed all over. Then Luffy ends up grabbing his whole water thing, not wanting to waste this, but decides to do it, and slams it right on Crocodile's head, getting his face all wet, and then drop kicking him right in the chin, knocking him out, and breaking his jaw. Breaking is an understatement, shattering his jaw. So, yeah. Also, Smoker isn't here, and neither is Ace. So, yeah, because Ace left to be a pirate this year. As at this point, he's fighting Jimbei somewhere for 5 days straight. So, yeah. And yeah, Crocodile's beaten. Luffy does turn him into the Marines. But he does say that he'll let them have Crocodile and give him a reward in exchange if they don't chase him, and he won't fight back and to sink all their ships. Luffy without getting scathed, so they're a little too scared to even fight him. So that they leave, and people who leave on the ship happen to be, people serving under this miscellaneous marine happen to be Smoker, Hina, Tashigi, and Full Body. Smoker actually asks to fight Luffy, saying he can't be that tough, and Smoker tries to Luffy full force, only to have his jute kicked out of his hand, and then he's smacked across the face with it, and knocked out on impact. Luffy stabs the jute into the ground and walks away. And Smoker would get to experience how strong Luffy is up close. Because he may have been older than Luffy, but his rank wasn't as high as Luffy. So once Luffy and all them, I guess, leave, well, we can move on to probably just the Jaya arc, where there's no Bellamy or Blackbeard, because Blackbeard wouldn't even leave, and there's no Ace to chase him, because Blackbeard doesn't know Ace exists, and Ace doesn't know Blackbeard exists. So yeah. At this point, actually, they probably would recently know each other, but that's probably it. But Ace isn't a division commander yet. He's more like serving under a division, like Thatch's division. But yeah. After this, we move on to probably Skypiea happening still. But at this point, and now recently became God, and is probably not accustomed to his power disease in canon. And Luffy also shows to be able to use Mantra pretty well, as Mantra is the Skypiea name for hockey. So Luffy basically just ended up going on and, well, Skypiea, well, he already knows where Enel is and says it out loud. He's going to walk towards there saying he'll do it himself. If he knows Lightning God, Enel can't hurt him. Then the Lightning Bolt tried to take down Luffy, only for him to just jump his hand in the air and expand it using Gear 3rd, and Lightning Bolt doesn't even burn Luffy whatsoever. Because possibly, he says, his body is made of rubber. Rubber cannot be destroyed by lightning unless it's a really high voltage. And judging how Enel used lightning, he's not too accustomed to his Devil Fruit just yet. That Luffy then went Gear 2nd, as he learned that over recently. We already knew it, but he didn't know how to activate it without hurting himself, so he's trying to find some way without hurting himself too much, because it does hurt your body over time. So Luffy just activated Gear 2nd in his legs, then dash forward full speed ahead. But he appeared in the Verth, I guess, because that's what's called Skypiea. But he brought his crew with him. Now with that, Wiper guys aren't there, so honestly just Enel's whole crew versus Luffy's crew, which of just teenagers that aren't even 17 yet, so besides Luffy. For that, they fight everyone in their path, and eventually Luffy gets his way to Enel. Also, Robin is still with him, so yeah. Also, keep in mind how old Chopper is. It's just 3 years before the current story. Chopper is 12. He's 12. At this point, I'm pretty sure he might even be 11. Those are just months. How they were. Chopper may not even be 12. He may be 11 at this point. At least Usopp was 13. So yeah, it's just kind of just weird dynamic. Yeah, so Robin at this point is 25 too, so she's a little bit younger. But yeah, so Luffy versus Enel. Enel try to go all against Luffy immediately, only just being able to have Luffy tank every single blast that Luffy gets hit with. But then Luffy just goes to a second, nailing Enel right in the chest and knocking him out. And then Enel eventually is just... Luffy just throws Enel into the white sea and lets Enel drown in it. But eventually Luffy had a fruit out, and honestly, well, that fruit holding out, that fruit happened to be a coincidental fruit that looked like the Goro Nami. And this now would actually involve the Goro Nami being put into this fruit. Once this fruit, I guess, is made, Luffy now has the Goro Nami in his possession. So yeah. But I'm actually gonna end this here. And I'm gonna put a poll up. If you've seen this, what if? Well, honestly, who should get the fruit? Nami, or should Luffy get a second devil fruit? So should Luffy get the Goro Nami, or should Nami get it? As Oda did say that Nami was supposed to get the Goro, not supposed to, but if she had enough, it would be the Goro Nami. Should it go to its rightful owner, or should it go to Luffy? Peace out. Hope you guys enjoyed.